Hi, I'm Joel Bloom, president of New Jersey Institute of Technology. At NJIT, we believe that not only our students, but all citizens need to be informed about the issues facing higher education. As New Jersey's Science and Technology University, NJIT is proud to support the important programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Delta Dental of New Jersey. Everyone deserves a healthy smile. NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. PSC&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. JAG Physical Therapy, the Russell Berry Foundation. And by Choose New Jersey. Our mission is attracting companies to the Garden State. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ. And by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
I've never been more scared in my whole life. I thought I was going to die.
قضينا 10 أيام بالمي.
I thought about my family the whole time.
أكتر شيء اشتقت له هو أمي.
We were waiting to know our fate. Well, thankfully, they let us in.
كنا كتير مبسوطين لما وصلنا آخر شيء.
I am alive.
أنا عايش. أنا
I am
واحد من
one of the
المحظوظين.
lucky ones.
So let's talk about immigrants, refugees. We're here with Caryl Stern, President and Chief Executive Officer of an extraordinary organization, UNICEF USA. What we just saw. Why is it so important for us to not just watch it, but think about it?
You know, it hits home to me because I am the child of a child immigrant. My mom came to this country at the age of 6. Her brother was 4. They came without their parents. It was the only way they could have their lives saved. So I grew up with that story, and I see their faces on every child. And today there are more kids on the move than there were in that post-World War II period. More kids sleeping on rocks tonight that should be in beds. And these are our children. They're not the, Somalia's children, Syria's children, any place else's children. They're our children.
And as we put up the UNICEF information for people to find out more and find a way they can help, what is our responsibility to those children?
Our responsibility is to be the grown-ups. World War II ended, we said never again, and I believe we meant never again, and we meant never again for all people. And so it's our responsibility, again, not to look at the borders they happen to be born between. They don't get to pick where they're born. And to be the grown-ups that we are, and to ensure that every child on this earth gets the opportunity to grow up and be whatever it is they're meant to be.
In the midst of the rhetoric, the heightened, often nasty, dangerous rhetoric around those who come to this country and refugees from certain countries for certain reasons, people believe. The level of empathy, compassion, and caring about these children seems to be very different than it was just a few years ago. Am I wrong about that?
I think for many, but
Most?
Some. First of all, UNICEF, we have no politics. We deal with kids, and kids are not making the political decisions. They are the victims of political decisions.
But if they come from, sorry for interrupting, if they come from certain countries and certain political leaders in our country say, not those kids, you say?
I say that children should not be viewed as anything other than children, and they need to be seen as children first, not immigrants, not migrants, not refugees, not asylum seekers. They are children.
And so when people say, I see that kid has needs, that kid's a potential future terrorist who could do harm to us, you say?
I say the best way you can refute that is to give that kid an opportunity, ensure he gets an education, feed him, clothe him, give him water. What's a better way to prove to a child that life is worth living?
How many displaced children are we talking about?
Right now, there are roughly 50 million kids on the move at the moment.
50
million children.
Define on the move.
Meaning that they're out of their homes.
In places like?
Places obviously like Syria, which is the obvious one. But you're going to find kids on the move throughout Latin America right now who are fleeing violence in their communities. You're going to find kids in all parts of the earth, in Africa, in Asia, in all parts of the earth, who are 24 million have been forcibly removed from their homes.
And if people wanted to help, what would they do? What could they do?
Well, what could they do? They could do a number of things. First of all, to address the point that you started with, they can stop the rhetoric. They can look at these children as children, look at the faces, see who they are, see them as people, not as numbers and not as any of the titles we put on them, but as children, and teach our own children to see them that way. You can embrace those who are in this community. We are a country of immigrants. We are.
Yep.
And
I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my grandparents coming from Naples, Italy.
Exactly. My husband's from Italy, okay? My own family from Austria. We are a country of immigrants, and we need to embrace that children who come here don't come here with any other purpose than to find safety and security and the promise of what America has to offer.
What is it? Is it called Kid Power? What's Kid Power?
All right, so Kid Power is remarkable. It's like my favorite program that we're doing. While we have all these kids on the move, 1 in 4 children in America is technically underactive. This is the first generation that might actually have a lifespan shorter than their parents. They're underactive. It's the obesity crisis. It's all of the various things that are facing kids, heart disease, et cetera. And we've got to get America's kids healthy and active. But simultaneously, 1 in 4 kids around the world is malnourished, to the point where if we don't do something, that the likelihood of death is there. So I kind of looked at 1 in 4 and 1 in 4 and said, there's got to be a way to put these together. And I wish I could take credit. I can't. I gave this to one of my staff, a guy by the name of Rajesh Anandan. I said, come back, give me an idea. And he really came back with Kid Power. So at the heart of Kid Power is we created a low-cost fitness band. This is a Kid Power band, and it comes in UNICEF blue, like this one.
Is it?
Yeah, that's it, UNICEF blue, but it also comes in a Star Wars version that's black, and there's an orange one and a green one. And in any case, we created that because no one wanted to make it for us, so we started a little startup in UNICEF, and we created it ourselves. We give it away free to Title I schools where 75% or more of the kids are on some kind of food assistance program.
How does it help?
Well, the kids are challenged to walk 12,500 steps a day. For every 2,500 steps they walk, they earn a point, and it lights up and it buzzes, and I can tell you, even as a grown-up, it's kind of a fun moment. You get that little woo. And when they earn 10 points, we release a sachet of ready-to-use therapeutic food. It looks like this, RUTF. And we release this to a child who is severely malnourished. That's an empty bag, but...
and there's food in here.
There's food in there. It's a peanut-based paste. It's everything a child needs. 4 weeks of that will bring a severely malnourished child back to life.
What is it like for you in this role at UNICEF? I mean, when you were a kid, what did you do for UNICEF?
I trick-or-treated for UNICEF.
You did,
1 in 10 Americans has
exactly,
trick-or-treated for UNICEF. Exactly.
What is it like for you to be in this role and to know that in spite of the horrific conditions faced, particularly by children, that you are helping to make a difference? How rewarding.
It's an amazing job. I took this job, I always say it was my 50th birthday present to myself, and it has been a remarkable 10+ years. Getting to experience things I'd never thought I would. I hadn't slept in a tent since I was a Girl Scout, so that part's made my friends laugh pretty hard. But no matter where I am in the world, and I've had the privilege with UNICEF now to go to over 32 countries, kids are kids, and they're really fun. And even when they're facing horrific situations, they will still make you laugh. I mean, they're just unbelievable.
But we can help the cause.
We definitely can help the cause. I think that everyone can help the cause. Financially, you can support the cause. It's going to take a number of dollars to bring education to all the kids.
Most people can volunteer, can't they?
People can definitely volunteer. With Kid Power in particular, you can teach your child to be a global citizen, give them an opportunity to give back, because in addition to the classroom, you can buy a Kid Power band for your own child and download the app with the password and get right on the program as a family experience.
Caryl Stern, glad you got that birthday present.
Me too.
She is the President and Chief Executive Officer of UNICEF USA, an extraordinary organization. I want to thank you for joining us on public television, FiOS, or other platforms. You're doing important work, and we need to be part of the cause as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Be right back, right after this. Thank you.
Thanks.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Listen to the song here in my heart, a melody I start, but I will complete. Oh, now I'm done believing you. You don't know what I'm feeling. I'm more than what you made of me. Follow the voice that you gave to me.
God gave you that gift, and you're working it every day. This is Wé McDonald. He just says performer here, but she's so much more than that. She was a finalist season 11 on NBC's The Voice. You are extraordinary.
Thank you.
How much you love singing?
It's more important to me than breathing sometimes.
Yeah. Your speaking voice, your singing voice, not the same?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I always say my answer is either God or the people that I grew up around, because I grew up around a lot of music. And, you know, you grow up listening to Nina Simone, Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald. You don't hear any high-pitched
No, you do not.
voices. I mean, with the exception of Ella, but Ella was a breath of fresh air. So she, you know, it was different for me.
Why were you old school like that? Why were you old school in terms of who you listened to?
Because you have to understand, you know, who came before you try to master anything else. I feel like that's important. Just like if you're going to dance hip-hop, you have to learn how to dance ballet.
You started singing how old?
God, I was 12.
That's late in the eyes of some. What were you doing before that?
Acting and dancing, which is kind of crazy because now my biggest thing that I'm known for is singing, and I'm like, I started kind of late.
But do people know that you can do a lot of other things?
Not as often if they don't ask. They don't necessarily know until they find out when I perform. But I love acting and dancing just as much as I love singing and writing music.
So the term quote-unquote performer, which is all your intro said, why do you go with that?
Because if you simply say singer, that's limiting yourself. If you simply say actor, that's limiting yourself. You know, people automatically put you in a box. If you perform, you entertain people. If you perform, you can be an artist. You can be anything that you want to be. So if I say I'm a performer, I'm here to help entertain you and put on a show.
Right before we got in here, you and I were talking about people who have a hard time with rejection, but they want to excel, and it's not just about your industry, it's about mine, it's about sports, it's about anything. They can't handle rejection, they don't want to deal with rejection. You say?
I say don't get in the game.
Because
you have to be sure enough in yourself if you're going to be in such a tough business in any part of life. I feel like, you know, you're worth it. So if anybody's telling you otherwise, then they don't have the right to be around you, and you need to get rid of those people ASAP.
So when you were performing on The Voice, right, season 11?
Yes.
One of my all-time favorites, yours as well as others, Alicia Keys was one of the ones who said, hey, this young lady has something. What was the moment like when Alicia Keys connected with you?
It was very surreal. I kind of blanked out. It was.
What were you saying? Do you remember what you don't remember what you said?
Oh God, that entire moment is my blind audition. All I remember is walking up on stage and then walking off stage. I don't remember anything in between other than the fact that she cut everybody off and was like, you came to this show to meet me. And that was one of the biggest moments of my life because I was like, that's crazy. And
what happened after that?
She talked to me and she said, I have you. And I definitely believe her. And now I have a great fan base and I'm making music and I'm making a whole bunch of moves and performing everywhere. And yeah, I have a book coming out, which is phenomenal for like kids and high school kids. So, yeah.
What's the message?
The message is, you know, you can be who you are. And no matter where you start, you can always end up on top as long as you believe in yourself and you keep fighting.
Were you bullied as a kid?
Absolutely.
Describe it.
Horrible. From 6th to 8th grade, 6th and 7th grade was always the worst because it was not just, of course, physical, but it's emotional and it's spiritual. It gets bad. By the time 8th grade, I was just ostracized completely.
You were not, hold on, ostracized, describe that. You didn't have a group, you had nothing?
No, I had nothing. I didn't have anybody. I went to a Christian school, and I always say my closest friend was Jesus. I didn't have anybody.
Did you want other people to be with you?
I did.
Hang with other kids?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was 12 years old. I wanted to be able to fit in, and people would see me eating lunch alone, and they'd be like, well, just join a group. And I would say, it's not that simple. I don't want to join a group. Why can't somebody accept me? Why do I have to accept what everybody else does?
So to all the kids right now watching, Wé, who are struggling, who are lost, who feel ostracized, your word, tell them something right now.
You're enough. You're more than enough. And regardless of what anybody says about you, who you are, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're strong. And the only reason that bullies bully you is because they're insecure about themselves. And you should not take that in a way that kind of demeans who you are.
Where are you going after this?
To the stars.
Describe what the stars look like. You're playing at the Apollo again, no?
Yes.
And the Apollo. You actually touch the rock when you go on?
Yes.
You do it.
Yeah.
For good luck, you got to do it.
Yeah, you got to. So let's say you got to walk on. You got to touch the tree stub, and it's so glossy too. It's ridiculously glossy.
You've never gone on and not done it.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, it was 4 times I went on that show, and I had to do it every time. Every time.
What do the stars look like for you? Where are you going? Got a minute left. Go.
Okay. The stars is me changing the world, me making sure that I affect everybody that I can be around in the best way possible, that regardless of what happens, that I can take away any pain and I can show people who they really are. And I want to make beautiful music and dancing and acting and all of that and more.
In the middle of that, you're at William Patterson University right now. You get your academics, you get your whole life ahead of you, and you have accomplished so much, but what's even more interesting about you is not just your ability to accomplish much more, but your ability to impact other people, because it seems to me that being a performer is really important to you, but having a positive impact on others is even more important, and that's what makes you a pretty special young lady. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing. Thank you, thank you.
Do you say that to everyone who interviews you? I just want to make sure.
No.
I'm just checking. I'm just fishing for a compliment.
Oh, well, of course.
So you can act as well. Thank you, Wé.
Thank you.
This Wé McDonald, she's awesome. We'll be right back right after this. Stay with us.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Keith Veltre is the co-founder and CEO of Hockey in New Jersey, which is, how do you describe the organization?
It's really just getting kids starting to play hockey at no cost. Free ice time, free equipment, and free coaching. It's a niche sport that really hasn't been big in urban areas, but it's one of those sports when you try it and you get a chance at it, you absolutely either fall in love with it or it's not for you, and the results have been staggering, to say the least, in the urban areas.
How old are the kids?
6 to 18, boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Yeah.
What does it mean for a kid in a Newark or a Jersey City, Englewood, other places, who has never been exposed to hockey, to get out there on the ice, learn how to skate, be a part of hockey? What does it mean to that kid?
I think first it's humbling. You're bringing kids from all parts of the city, and they got their bravado, they're tough kids, and then they go out there and their ankles go directly in and they can't move and they're laughing, and it's going through something tough together. But what I think it's a badge of honor once they start to get the hang of it and they come together with kids from all different parts of the city and they see other kids like them, and it's just such a fast, physical sport that they fall in love with it. They love it.
How did it all start?
13 years ago, I had a career change, and I had a friend of mine who was the athletic director at Science Park High School call me and say, listen.
Science Park in Newark?
In Newark, yep. So he said, there's a high school team in Eastside High School. Nobody wants a job. Do me a favor and go, just put in for an interview. You'll make me look good. So I went down there, and they told me, if I don't take the job, they're going to lose their hockey program. So,
I mean, as the head coach?
Yeah. They had nobody else. It wasn't like it was I was up against some tough competition. It was just me. So I said, I'll take it under one condition, and that's I bring my closest friend that I played college hockey with down to do it with me. His name's Dennis Rupi, and we coached that first year. We started with 5, ended with 10. They never got to the third period. They got mercy ruled every year. They had no equipment, no jerseys, and some of the things that were said to them that year really lit a fire under my butt and Dennis's butt to do right by these kids. And we started with a simple equipment donation and started to grow the program from there.
These kids were just getting abused out there because some other kids didn't think they belonged.
Yeah, that, and they had no experience, right? These kids have been skating since they're 5, 6 years old. They were trying to start their freshman year in high school. So.
Wow. It's so interesting. And you grew up, you were telling me you grew up in Belleville, New Jersey, in Stephen Crane Village. And I can't even say Google it because I don't even know you can find Stephen Crane Village. It's just an extraordinary place and on the border of Newark and Belleville where I grew up.
Yep.
We knew some of the same people. Talk about old school. Frankie Valli and his family grew up there as well.
Sure.
Your background, growing up where you grew up in Belleville / Newark on the Belleville-Newark borderline, right? Doodletown is right next door, right?
Yeah.
This is all inside stuff. What impact did it have on you and your view of the world and what those kids in cities, urban areas need and want?
Well, I went to college. I have a master's degree, and it pales in comparison to what I learned from my family, my grandparents, and the community I grew up in. Right?
Your family from Naples?
Yeah, they are.
No, I just guessed.
Yeah, that's good.
I just guessed.
That's a good guess. And so I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I never really loved school, and I truly found my passion in this program and didn't know that my gift was what my family and my friends and the kind of place I grew up in was to always take your shirt off your back, help people, do right by others. And, just it's always been about family to me. That's what I'm passing on to these kids.
You treat them like family?
They are family. I don't
break down some of the programs that help them be the family they are.
Oh, we have a life skills component, and we're really lucky to have RWJ Barnabas that does a great job with that. It's sports nutrition. So they come in and teach them what they should be eating in the morning. They shouldn't be eating Cheetos and potato chips before they go to school. They should be eating yogurts and certain types of foods. So that's one of the programs we have. We also have academic tutoring. So what we say to a kid is, if you fall in love with hockey, great, we want you to be involved. But if you start missing school, and I'm part of the Newark Public Schools, which you know, one of the biggest problems is attendance.
That's right.
So if you're missing 5 days a week at school, you can't play hockey anymore. So then once they fall in love with this sport, we truly have them. We have the carrot dangle in front of them. So we're not saying we're getting all F students to A's, but we're getting F students to C's. We're going from 40 days absent to 10 days absent. So we have academic tracking in place. We have academic tutoring in place. We also have SAT skills in place for the kids.
Getting them ready for SATs?
Yeah, absolutely we are, yes. We have college campuses. We have Kevin Lopez was part of our program. He got the Princeton on a full academic scholarship.
Get out of here.
I won't take credit for that, but he will tell you it helped him get set in his goals and definitely helped him get organized.
Real quick, what kind of life skills are we talking about?
Life skills in terms of things as simple as what you eat, brush your teeth.
How about teamwork?
Absolutely. That goes hand in hand with hockey.
Negotiation, loyalty, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They all go hand in hand. All sports are great for that, but hockey's very family-oriented, and the really cool thing about our program is the same suburban teams that were beating up on us are the same families. Hockey families are the best in the world. They always say that. They're the reason we are where we are because all the donated equipment comes from them. They're our volunteers. We have over 100 volunteers, people who come there and spend hours upon hours with these kids because of two things. They love hockey and they believe in the kids in Newark, Jersey City, and Englewood. One of our volunteers, her name is Michelle Picard. She played in the 2014 USA Olympic team, is on the professional team now at New York Riveters. And I'm not saying, Steve, come and take a photo op. She's there every day, tying skates.
What?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it's the kids that keep people coming back. It's certainly not me.
How much do you love this job?
It's a dream job for me. I just want to do more and make it bigger because, not that I want to prove anybody wrong, because there were a lot of naysayers saying that was crazy and Dennis Rupi was crazy for taking this on. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving the very few right that we were on something good with these kids.
Before I let you go, what are the locations?
We started in Newark. We're in Jersey City, Englewood. We have over 700 kids right now. 700 kids playing hockey.
Could the demand be greater if you get out there more?
I believe in 3 years we'll be at 1,500. And we're going to keep expanding.
Last question.
Yeah.
The number one lesson you've learned about leadership in your life is?
The number one, that's a tough question. Walk the walk. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people like to preach and talk to these kids and tell them all the things they should be doing, but it's all about consistency and being there and seeing. They need to see you there every day over the long haul. I'll be going on my 14th year there, and they're never going to say, hey, Coach V or Coach Ruppy's going to leave. They're here for the long haul with us.
They're not looking for a speech. They're looking to see it. Keith Veltre every day does it. Co-founder and CEO of Hockey in New Jersey, making a difference for in the lives of so many kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Delta Dental of New Jersey, NJIT, PSE&G, JAG Physical Therapy, the Russell Berry Foundation, and by Choose New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
You may not have heard of TAVR. Raj and Sandhya have. It's the minimally invasive alternative to open heart valve replacement. RWJ Barnabas Health is New Jersey's leading TAVR provider, and we continue to perfect it. Patients are often back to their lives in just a few days. Innovative valve replacement surgery. Because you can't be replaced. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.